On Sunday's edition of MediaBuzz, we spent a lot of time on Donald Trump versus the media and versus the women, 9 women at latest count, who've accused him of sexual misbehavior or sexual misconduct. Now, why did I do that? I did that because for the previous week to 10 days, starting with that Access Hollywood tape, it has completely and totally dominated the media coverage. And in talking about this, and in writing about this, by the way, we have been somewhat critical, and I have been somewhat critical in saying that that the press is focusing on this to the exclusion of virtually all the issues, including the hacked emails from the Clinton campaign and released by WikiLeaks, which we devoted 2 segments to on the program, and also that, however, whatever merit the charges by these women might have, I don't know if they're telling the truth. Most people don't know if they're telling the truth. Donald says they're not telling the truth. I don't see why they would, a lot of them would have a motive to lie, but I'm agnostic on that. But a lot of people out there think that we shouldn't be covering it at all. So that leads me to an email from Donald C. in North Carolina. Donald, you have the floor. I posted the following to my blog, read by hundreds of people. Should have told us the name of the blog. On MediaBuzz today for 48 minutes, Howard Kurtz discussed how the MSM, mainstream media, are spending all their time on the Trump story. He even ran a part of the notorious bus tape. Then for 3 minutes in an abstruse story, he went after the MSM for spending such little time on WikiLeaks. Then in another 3 minutes, he talked about the firing of Billy Bush, which took him right back to the Trump story. I emailed him while he was on the air with no response. Donald, I'm sorry, but when I'm on the air, I'm not spending a lot of time checking email. I am, doing my job. Now, I picked out this email because a lot of Trump supporters took me on this. And we did devote several segments in one way or another. For example, we also talked about female journalists and whether they, because of their life experience, perhaps experiences that they have had being harassed or even sexually assaulted, might view these allegations differently than the men. But at the same time, what a lot of Trump supporters don't seem to get is we have taken a skeptical and sometimes critical approach to the media coverage of Trump. And that includes these allegations by the women. Was it over the top? Is it too much? Should it get such focus? Why is WikiLeaks getting relatively little attention from the mainstream media while they go completely wall to wall on these allegations against Donald Trump? That is my job, to analyze the media coverage. When the media go crazy on something, we almost necessarily, it doesn't even have to be about politics, devote a lot of time to that and try to bring a skeptical and an aggressive approach to holding the media accountable. Some of you Trump supporters out there don't believe that we should even talk about this. You've told me so. I don't think that that's possible in a campaign where the New York Times, the Washington Post, People Magazine, the Palm Beach Post, and then all the cable networks are talking about this stuff all the time, writing about it, reporting on it. Whether it's true or not, whether it's unfair or not, that's our job to examine, and it's your job to make a judgment. But to say that we should just completely ignore what had become a central focus of the campaign fairly unfairly, I wonder how many of you also think we should just ignore the fact that Donald Trump held a news conference with Juanita Broaddrick and Paula Jones and with Kathleen Willey. If that is fair game, accusations against Bill Clinton, some of which have been fully documented, others of which remain in dispute, then we can't simply turn a blind eye to women who are accusing Donald Trump, while giving lots of time, including a segment we did with his spokeswoman, Katrina Pearson, to his rebuttal against these women and what he is saying in response. That's how journalism works. You don't ignore things that people don't agree with. You take them on, you give the other side a chance to respond, and you try to provide some coverage, some analysis, some context in as fair a way as humanly possible.